So today marks something new, for not only for Mortal Realms, but for Age of Sigmar. So actually two new things. The first new thing is issue number 5. Now, issues 1 to 4 were just a rerun on issues that were released as part of a trial run last year. And this is the first step into brand new content. That's the first new thing. The second new thing is Xandria Azurebolt. Now, this is a bespoke or exclusive model just for the Mortal Realms range. So if anyone remembers back to issue number 5 of Warhammer 40k Conquest, we received Lieutenant Calcius in issue 5. So we are getting similar stuff for the Mortal Realms. So I shall make her in a minute, but first of all, let's look through the issue. So what have we got? Xandria Azurebolt. Learn about Knights in Cantor. Knights in Cantor are magic users for the Stormcast Eternals. And then play a game with your new hero. We will cover all of that. Okay. This issue comes with a new miniature that is exclusive to the Mortal Realms collection. Knight in Cantor Xandria Azurebolt. Xandria is a powerful warrior and mage able to harness the magic of Azir to blast her foes with the power of a celestial storm. Xandria is the first model you will need to use Citadel plastic glue to assemble. Don't worry, as a subscriber you'll have the plastic glue and our build guide which will teach you how to use it. Happy hobbying. Well, as a subscriber I collected this from the newsagents today. You don't get no glue if you do that. I have actually received my copies through the post via Hachette, and there was indeed glue, a mould line remover, and I think something else in that. Anyway, so let's carry on. So, Realms number 2, Magic in the Mortal Realms. Magic is a powerful force in the Mortal Realms, and those who can harness it can use it to shape reality, both on and off the battlefield. Then we learn about the Knights in Cantor. Then we learn about Xandria herself. Then we've got history, Wars of the Dead. The God King Sigmar has returned. His warriors strike out across the Mortal Realms to combat evil and protect the innocent. Then we've got our build guide for Xandria. Then we've got a paint guide for her. And then we've got our mission. The Knight in Cantor lights the way. This playthrough will teach you how to cast spells in your games of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Okay, brilliant. Exciting stuff. Okay. So, magic in the Mortal Realms. Magic flows through the fabric of every realm, and its power can be felt everywhere. Even the gods do not claim to fully understand the nature of such energies. Mortals who try to harness its power risk madness, mutation, or worse. Yet for those who manage to wield arcane power, glory and triumph await. Very good. Arcanoscopes. There are 8 types of magic, each associated with one of the 8 mortal realms. In Azir, the realm of heavens, Sigmar's followers keep a close eye on the flow of this magic. By using powerful spells and vast arcane machines, the wizards of Azir can detect the strength of each type of magic in the realm, in each realm. So we have, going clockwise, celestial magic, jade magic, amber magic, gold, bright, amethyst, grey magic, and light magic. Very, very good. Okay, then we learn about the Knights in Cantor. So we have the Knights of Renown, which is Xandria Azurebolt, Lena Claesa, Perenni Blaze-Eyed, and then we've got the Chamber, which is the Sacrosanct Chamber. Equipment are Voidstorm Scrolls, Spirit Flasks, and Incanter Staffs. And their specialities are Wizards and War Leaders. Okay. Knights in Cantor are powerful warrior wizards who are able to summon hurricane winds and gales of magical energy to destroy those who cannot be slain by normal weapons. Any who enrage a Knight in Cantor soon find themselves battling a living tempest. Very good. So we learn about the equipment they've got. So we've got the Voidstorm Scrolls. They can be used to counter the effects of an enemy wizard spell. Spirit Flasks. They carry Spirit Flasks that can be hurled as weapons, causing deadly explosions of soul energy, so grenades. Incantor Staff. A Knight Incantor Staff is enchanted with powerful magic. It is a potent combat weapon capable of dealing terrible damage to those struck by it. And then we've got some information on this Spirit Storm. Knights Incanter can attack their enemies with Spirit Storms, howling tempests of gusting wind and bolts of deadly magical lightning. Okay, now we meet Xandria. Though her eyes burn with celestial fury, Xandria Azurebolt is as calm as the eye of the storm. Woe betide the enemies of order, for within her soul rages a vengeful tempest. Xandria Azurebolt was born in Shyish, where she served as courtly wizard in the Amethyst princedoms. When the Age of Chaos came, the Chaos God Nurgle's followers descended upon her home. Xandria's spells took a great toll upon the foe. Just as she was about to be slain by a Chaos champion, Sigmar, impressed by her mastery of magic, spirited her soul to Azir. So she is a storm host of the Hammers of Sigmar. The famous battles she's been in are the Battle of Garzan and the Relief of Rithia. And her specialities are Storm Magic, Arcane Warrior, and Commander. Exciting stuff. Xandria wields the weapons of the Knight Incantor, sword, spell, and staff. She is a warrior and wizard both, as capable of unleashing punishing storm magic as she is striking down the enemies of order with Sigmarite sword and enchanted staff. She is a nice looking model as well. Pretty cool. Very good. Okay, and then we move on to the Wars of the Dead. As the Age of Sigmar arrived, Nagash and his legions of undead followers arose once more to reclaim Shyish from those who ruled it during the Age of Chaos. At the Battle of Black Skies, Nagash was slain by the forces of Chaos. Though his undead armies were driven back, Nagash's lieutenants, the Mortarchs, claimed what remained of the god's ruined form and escaped into the old underworlds of Shyish. Brilliant. I believe he was defeated by Archaon. If anyone knows that for sure, let me know. So Archaon is I believe he's a former man, but he follows all of the gods and receives all of the blessings of the Chaos gods. And he's awesome. Okay. Nagash's return from the dead began a war that saw the forces of Chaos attacked across Shyish. Despite their unholy power, they could not stand against the might of the resurgent great necromancer. Okay, then we've got how to build Xandria Azurebolt. And then we've got how to paint. But at the moment, it's just giving us 3 coats of Retributor armour. That's as far as we get with her so far. Okay, now we've got a battle. The Knight Incantor lights the way. Xandria Azurebolt, Knight Incantor, has arrived. Her orders from Azir are clear. Search the ruins and recover the ancient treasures and magical items hidden in the tomb complex before the Nighthaunt can capture or destroy them. First, however, she must fight her way through a mob of deadly chain rasps. Okay, so it's got more flavour text, but we don't need to go through that right now. So what have we got then? We have got Xandria Azurebolt up against what looks like 10 chain rasps. 1 versus 10. Okay, so what you will need: unfold your battle mat. We'll get to that. Place your dice and range ruler next to your mat for use when you need them. Grab some coins or other small items as markers. Set up Xandria Azurebolt and the chain rasps on top of the spaces marked on the battle mat. Place 4 chain rasps on the skull deployment zones and then place the other 6 within 1 inch of the first 4. Choose who will play as Xandria and who will play as the chain rasps. Okay, I'll set that up and come back in a minute. But first, let's build Xandria. Okay, so here we are set up. We've got our 10 chain rasps here, including one which my 4-year-old daughter managed to get her grubby mitts on when I left the paints out the other day. God bless her. Anyway, so here is Xandria Azurebolt. Now that the glue is dried, she is an impressive model. So we don't have the actual Age of Sigmar stats for her yet. I assume she will be the same as the other Knight Incantors, with maybe a little bit of something bespoke for her. But certainly here we'll get to her stats in a minute. Okay, so this playthrough uses half of your large battle mat. Fold the mat so that the side shown to the left is showing, and leave the unused side folded underneath. After that, deploy Xandria Azurebolt and the chain rasps as shown. Okay, so the first shot goes to Xandria Azurebolt. So I'm declaring a spell, and she knows Arcane Bolt. So we need to roll 2 dice and then add the results together. So that's a 4. If the dice is equal to or greater than 5, then the spell succeeds. But if it's lower, then the spell fails. So let's say, for argument's sake, that she did hit a 5. Arcane Bolt does 1 damage. The Chain Rasp player removes 1 model for every 1 damage. Okay, so there you go. Goodbye, horribly painted Chain Rasp. If the score is 10 or more, it does D3 damage. And if you remember, D3 is you roll a dice and you divide it by 2. So that would be 1 damage. Okay. Then Xandria has got the movement phase. So we know that the Chain Rasps can't get all the way over to Xandria. So we'll leave her there so she can fire her Arcane Bolt again next round before a movement. So, okay, so Chain Rasp attack. So next they're going to move. And if you remember, Chain Rasps move 6 inches. And that goes, the back of your range ruler will go to the very edge of the base. And then you will move to the very edge of 6 inches, which is conveniently right on this seam of the battle line. So we'll move all of our Chain Rasps up. Now, because they are not within 3 inches, they can't move. So what we'll do here is we'll do Arcane Bolt again. So let's roll this. So we rolled a 6, that's 1 more damage. So I'll take another one of these guys away. Now, we know that in the next round of battle, because the Chain Rasps will get to within 3 inches, they will be able to pile in. So if we didn't move again now, it would be a bad idea because we're getting smacked in the face no matter what on the next round. So we're going to move Xandria up her full movement, which is 5 inches, which brings us to there. And she's going to pile in. She can pile in anything up to 3 inches. And what we'll do is we'll pile in specifically here. So she can make 3 melee attacks with her Incantor's staff if her base is touching a Chain Rasp base. So that's good. So you roll 3 dice and count the number of dice that score on a 3 up. These are hits. Okay, so 2 of those hit. And the Incantor staff does D3 damage per hit. So what we do is we roll the D3s. So the first one is going to do 1 damage. And the second one is going to do a further 3. So that's 4 damage. So that takes away these guys. Okay, so that's the end of the phase. Now, Chain Rasps get to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the pile in. So we're going to move this one round to within 3 inches. I'm going to get this guy in so he can hit as well. Now, in order to maintain the team, you can't have a split of more than 1 inch between any of these Chain Rasps. Otherwise, it's you can't run it like that. So you have to have 1 inch at least under an inch between each one. Okay, so Chain Rasps. Okay, so each Chain Rasp makes 2 attacks. So we've got 4 models there in range. So we're going to roll 8 dice. Now to hit, they need at least a 4. So let's see what we can get here. So we get so 4 hits go through. Each hit does 1 damage. So that's 4 damage to Xandria. Now she can take 5 damage. So really, unless she rolls well in the next round, she's going to be dead. So she's down to 1. So what you can do, and what a lot of people do, is they keep a dice next to or on the base to say how many wounds they've got left. So she's just got 1. So it is Xandria's go next. So she can do an arcane bolt even though she's in combat. Now if there was other models here that were Nighthaunt, she couldn't attack them, so she can do her arcane bolt but only on the guys that she's engaged with. So we're going to roll 2 dice. Okay, so that's a 6, so the arcane bolt is successful, does 1 damage. There we go. And then she's going to roll her 3 dice to hit these guys. And remember, she succeeds on a 3-up. Okay, so 1 goes through, so she gets to do D3 damage. So if she gets a 5 or 6, she finishes off the chain rasps. She gets a 4, so that's 2 more of those gone, and that's the end of her phase. Now the chain rasp gets 2 hits each. He's going to take his go, and nothing goes through. So it's back to Xandria. She succeeds in her arcane bolt, does 1 damage, and defeats the chain rasps. So that is the combat for this week. Right. So that's interesting because it's our first magic user. Let's see what else we've got in the magazine and see what we've got coming up. So this is all the stuff that took us through that battle, but we are done. So when we get to later movement in other issues, we'll be looking at things like making a run movement or a charge movement, so as we get extra opportunities. Okay, so this was it. So let's have a look at Xandria's stats for what we've got here. It says War Scroll here, but she'll have much more information on a proper War Scroll for Age of Sigmar. Okay, so moves 5 inches and can take 5 damage. She's got the Incantor's Staff, which she rolls 3 dice for. She hits on a 3-up and she does D3 damage. Arcane Bolt has a casting value of 5, so that means you need to roll a 5 with those 2 dice. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit. That unit suffers 1 damage. If the casting roll was 10 or more, that unit suffers D3 damage instead. Okay, so that's good. And then what we'll do is, before we go through what we've got next week, there was a little kind of supplement that came with it today, and this will just get filed away with the rest of our Mortal Realm stuff. But this is telling us about the city of Azurebolt. Proud and glittering, Azurebolt is the greatest city in the Mortal Realms. Founded by Sigmar himself, between the vast peaks of encircling mountains, from the gleaming gates of this metropolis, the armies of retribution march forth to punish the agents of chaos, wherever they lurk. Azurebolt streets ring with the industry of war. Okay, and it gives us a nice sort of poster there, which is cool. And then on the inside of this, it gives us more information. So more information about Azir specifically, not Azurebolt. But there's lots and lots of good information there as well. And then we've got here the Bastion of Order. Azurebolt is known by many names, and it is home to many different peoples. Amongst its titles are the Eternal City and the City of the Lost. It was once the last of its kind for the realms. Other great cities had crumbled beneath the chaos onslaughts. Okay, very cool. In fact, that's an even bigger post than I thought it was. So very, very good. Very, very cool. I look forward to reading through all of that. So there you go. So that was issue number 5. And I think it was a great one as well. So we got a new model, lots of new things. So a new issue we've never seen before, a new model. We've got the magic abilities that have now been added into their game. So that's new as well. So a lot has changed in this week. But what have we got next week? So Thorns of the Briar Queen arrive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Very nice. And we discover the city of Shadespire. Interesting. I wonder if they'll give us any of the Underworld's rules. No, they won't give us that. I'm sure they won't. It would be very cool if they did, though, because a lot of what we've got, we could proxy for Underworlds. Anyway, I think I'm asking too much there. But that's it for issue number 6. Now, issue number 7. Lots of people generally hate the paint issues because they are pretty dull. However, we will have some Reichland Flesh Shade, which we'll be putting onto our Retributor armour that we've already got. And we've also got some Stormhost Silver, where we'll be painting some of, well, maybe a little bit of the weapons on the Nighthaunt or the chains and that kind of thing, but certainly doing some highlights and that kind of thing on the Stormcast guys we've got so far. So I think that this has been a great issue, and I love getting something new and exclusive, so that's really, really cool. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy this, please drop a little like, as it really, really helps me out and helps the channel out. I'll be back later on with some more Conquest stuff, and I'll be back tomorrow with more Warcry stuff. And if you're not interested in any of them, I'll see you next week for issue number 6. See you later.